art that I do is a Norwegian folk art called Rosemaling, or Rosemaling, Rosemaling. So Rosemaling is an art form that developed in Norway through the 1600s and late 1800s. It kind of died out at the end of the 1800s because of immigration, industrial revolution. But we were very fortunate because those pieces, a lot of them came here to the United States. And there was a wonderful gentleman back in the early 1900s, Lise, who continued Rosemaling here. And that art form has really continued to blossom here in the United States. So originally I'm from Staten Island, New York, and I grew up in a Norwegian American community. Both sides of my family are from Norway, as is my husband's. And we belong to a Sons of Norway lodge, and my father was the cultural director back when I was 11. And they had somebody teach Rosemaling, and they said, oh, Lisa paints, let's put her in the class. So I was in the class with my grandparents, my friend's grandparents, my other friend's grandparents, and I'm in 6th grade. And then when I was 19, I was very fortunate to start working with a woman named Lise Lorentzen, and I worked with her until my early 30s. And I also had a great opportunity to work with a group out of New Jersey, the Garden State Rosemaling Association, that had people nationally and internationally, wonderful Norwegian artists, come over and teach, and I worked through them. So it was really right time, right place. It's really kind of a God thing, how it all kind of came together. I teach locally, I teach nationally. I now have a YouTube channel that I'll do demonstrations on to share that way. And I do this also through Facebook and Instagram, because art forms have a way of dying out. And if you don't take the time to take what you've learned and share it to the next generation, what's going to happen? It just dies. You know, nowadays, because of being able to look on my phone, being able to look at Pinterest, being able to look at Facebook and Instagram, you are really tied in with so many of the artists that are doing this work nowadays. And when somebody comes up with a new piece that's a little different, or background color it's different, it inspires me to go down and try that, or, you know, incorporate into what I'm already doing, which ties into the idea of keeping an artwork growing and moving on, because when you're working with other people doing the same thing, you inspire each other and you're able to push that art form onto other levels. So I get excited when I can go downstairs to my studio and just work. When I'm using my brush, I'm going to push it down and pull it around. And there is a basic C-stroke. The C-stroke forms the root of the design, because Rosemaling is based on flower forms. They're kind of fantasy flower forms, not what you really see in the real world, but that is the basis of it. You have a C-stroke, and I can do it in the other direction, coming this way. And then you'll have an S-stroke that forms off of it. It literally rides off the back of your C-stroke and comes around to your root, just like that. And that's really the basis of all Rosemaling. A fun style that I like to do is from the Telemark region. It's a very asymmetrical, free-flowing style, as you can see. So it's those fantasy flowers that you see out there. A lot of fun to paint. This I can sit and just let my mind go free. It's freehand with this. I will, when I'm teaching a class, I'll develop a pattern. We'll put the pattern on and then go color by color and teach it that way. So another style that I work a lot with is called Hallingdal, which is a symmetrical style, much flatter, not as free-flowing. And a completed piece would be this clock here. So you can see it's very symmetrical, but really fun to paint. It's funny how you get involved with something and you don't really realize it completes you. It makes you happy. It's something that you're gifted with. And I think in life, when you can find something that is your gift and you can develop it, it makes you a more complete person. So I am really lucky that I'm able to share this art form, because the only way an art form continues is if you share it.